Hey, count out to the geeks. We had little technical difficulty at the beginning, and then we had some internet issues on my end. But the interview's there. Don't worry. Where you get in this interview, you're gonna see Mike talking about his favorite comic. And then also we got to give a quick shout out to Dragons of Alamo Ranch. If you're a Warhammer fan, D&D, Pokemon, Magic, One Piece, this is where you want to go. There are local friends here in San Antonio. And then, of course, we got to give a shout out to, of course, Nasser for a Casa, which would be November 15th, 2025, at the Red Oak Ballroom at the Norris Center. Get your tickets now. They've already announced awesome artists, comic book creators. There's also more guests to be announced. But enjoy this interview. We talk about Revival. We talk about Krypto, Battlepug. It is an awesome interview. I hope you enjoy.
What is it? Who is the artist that I loved so much that I can't remember now?
I'm looking it up. Let's see. What'd you say? 170?
173, I think, is the number. And I'm blanking on his name. He did a lot of Spider-Man. And he actually did several Blue Beetle issues back in the 80s, which is why I loved him so much. It's like, oh, this guy just draws the stuff I like.
Man, I can't find it. 73 is the Molten Man on the cover.
173.
173, yeah. It was Molten Man, and that was written by Len. That was Len Wein.
Len Wein, that was around that time. Let me look.
It's, Blue Beetle artist. That had to be Ross Andrew?
Ross Andrew.
Yeah. I love Ross. I have his big artist edition book.
Nice.
You're right. That's Molten Man. So it's not 173. Let me see if it's 163.
That's so cool, man.
There you go.
163.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Jason Alexander just texted to say, "Oh, Jim Shooter." That's pretty much.
Well, hey, perfect timing. We're just going to talk about that. Guys, today, if you didn't know, June 30th, the world lost another legend in the comic industry. If you didn't know, we lost Jim Shooter. This guy lived the dream that a lot of us kids wish we could have done, where while we were in high school, he was working for the comic industry as a freshman. I mean, that's never going to happen again. You know what I mean? I don't think. But I mean, when you guys, of course, you got in the industry, you know, did you ever get a chance to meet him? Did you?
I want to say I did, but it was just like a passing hello at a table, and it was probably another person that knew him well that introduced us. Yeah. But conventions are full of moments like that. I'm sure I've met tons of people that I don't even remember, but it was just because it was like, hello, how are you? That kind of thing.
And even though he was older, he was still an intimidating guy because he was so tall.
He's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah. That's what I remember the first time I met him at a convention.
I'm 6'4", and people call me tall, but that guy, when you run into like a Shooter or a Mark Silvestri, you're like, people don't know what tall is.
Silvestri is tall too. Yeah, that's the truth.
But yeah, rest in peace, Mr. Shooter.
Yeah, man. Legend.
Made some of he was in charge when most of the comics I loved were being put out. So,
well, I mean, he's worked. I mean, he was a writer, he was a draw, he drew, he was an editor.
He was the editor in chief when I was really getting into Marvel. So,
wow, that's crazy, man. That's something like playing basketball as a kid. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to make the NBA kind of thing. This is right there, in that kind of thing. He was like the LeBron James of of comics because you got to get in there at a young age before anyone else. Right. But and then yours. So where was it? At what age were you that you started actually drawing?
I would have had to have been around 4 or 5. Oh, wow. I grew up in a small town in West Tennessee, and my dad would buy comics for me on his way home. He'd buy comics and candy for me and my brother. And
Nice.
I kept the comics and read them. My brother was all about the candy. He was more of a sports kid than I was, so I read the comics. And in '77, when we saw Star Wars, that's pretty much it. All I wanted to do was draw and tell stories. We used to have writing tablets when I was a kid, so you could learn how to cursive handwrite. I don't think they do that anymore, obviously. So I would take those, and each page would be a scene from Star Wars. I still have my Empire Strikes Back one. I've scanned a couple of them and put them online, but they are. I guess I could be embarrassed, but I was like 5, so it wasn't. So yeah, that's all I ever wanted to do, and my parents thankfully were very supportive of that. I guess they thought it was real cool until I graduated high school, and they're like, "Oh, you were serious about that." So it's like, you got to do something that'll make money. You should probably get into graphic design. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but sure. So, I sidetracked myself for about 10 years working in ad agencies and stuff because that's what I thought I would make money at. And then I got my first job drawing comics in '97, and I was like, oh, well, I did it. And I was like, I still can't make a living at it. So I always had to have a day job. But once I did it, I was like, well, they let me do one. I'm just going to keep going.
So that whole time when you're doing the graphic design work, are you still in the back of your mind thinking about, I need to get into
comics? Absolutely. Yeah. I did a lot. Everybody knew that I was into comics and that I drew comics, and because I did it like from time I graduated college till now. I was doing independent comics for people. I did Waiting Place with Sean at Slave Labor, but my first actual comic that I got paid for was an Image comic. So it was like I started out pretty good. There was a period of like 10-15 years where it was all like Oni and Slave Labor Graphics and IDW and all that stuff. I was doing little small projects because I still couldn't get in at Marvel or DC. So it took a long time. I think I was like 30 when I first got my Marvel and DC jobs.
Wow. How'd you get that first Image job?
That's a weird story. So I grew up, I read the comic store. There wasn't a comic store in Jackson, Tennessee, where I'm from. There was a place called Book Nook on the south side of town, and they had Eclipse and First comics there.
Nice.
And I didn't know there were such a thing as non-Marvel and DC comics. But I saw this book called The Badger, and I saw the character on the front, and he's got more than one costume? That's cool. And so I started reading it. It's so weird. It's such a weird,
Mike Barron, right?
Yeah, Mike Barron was the writer, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I saw that there was a Nexus fan club, which is the other book that he wrote, and I just sent him a letter, on paper, sent him a letter, and he wrote back, and he's like, yes, I sent him stuff, and like over a period of years, we just corresponded, and I would tell him, oh, so-and-so at Marvel said this sucks, and he's like, don't listen to them. It was like blah, 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 and eventually he's like, hey, do you want to draw the Badger? And I was like, yeah. So I drew like 4 issues of the Badger when he took it to Image. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty like blessed sort of first job. I was like very lucky, and Barron's a real weird guy. And,
I was gonna say, and did you get to ever talk to Steve Rude? Because both of them are both kind of.
I've met Steve, but I don't know Steve. I know Mike, and Mike's Mike. It was very educational, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I learned a lot of stuff, both what to do and what not to do, and it was yeah. I'm very happy with how that turned out.
So once you do those 4 issues, then does just work start coming in regularly then?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like they say, you're always breaking in. I did the 4 issues. One of them was never printed. So the book was canceled before that last one came out. And from then on, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and I moved in with my friend Jason Alexander, who's drawing Spawn now. I think he's drawing something for Spawn. And actually, he just started a Zoop campaign for his Ebenezer Scrooge graphic novel he's doing.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so I was living with him, and we were both trying to break in. So we would go to conventions. We would drive up to the Chicago Comic-Con. We went to Pittsburgh, and we would draw anything for anybody. And the first gig we got was for London Night Studios, and we still haven't been paid for those jobs. But slowly but surely, we kept getting stuff and here and there, and I got started my thing with McKeever. Sean McKeever had his book called The Waiting Place, and I became the second artist on that. And so it just kept going. The key was I just never stopped doing it, and that when I tell a lot of people trying to break in when they come to the table at conventions, it's like, yeah, most of it is just not going away. You know, because people will do that to you. People will they'll try and let you down easy and just hope you go away. And the thing is, you just don't go away. And that's how you eventually get a job and you keep going and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and plus, like for a while there, you were known as like the workhorse of comics, man.
Yeah.
You were doing like 3 books at a time at once, right?
Yes. It's something I was terribly, terribly proud of at the time. And I still am. Again, I wouldn't change it, but I'm 52. I just turned 52, and it is way harder for me to do that now.
Yeah.
It's much more taxing on my brain. Back then, it was almost sort of like fun to see how much I could take, you know, and I had a lot of interesting guidance. Like Mike Carlin at DC was very supportive, and I like to think he's like one, if not the last, like old school editors, you know, and he gave me a lot of tips of what to do and what not to do. He would send me like photocopies of like Jose Garcia Lopez pencils, and it's like, look at this. This is what you need to be drawing. And I'm like, okay, that's not intimidating at all, but yeah, it was hard.
Well, were you taking on that workload just because you couldn't say no to things, or like you said, you enjoyed
that's
doing
certainly
that?
part of it. That's certainly part of it. So I got, when I first started at DC around the same time I started at Marvel, and yeah, I wasn't going to say no to anything. I don't think I started saying no to things until about 5 years ago, honestly. I would take whatever they got, and by doing that, I got to draw everybody. I learned how to draw everybody and everything, and became the artist that I thought I was or wanted to be when I started. And that's very important, because I mean, I'm pretty confident that I can just step into anything and just do it. And I'm not like that with anything else in my life. So I'm very happy to have that. I feel that skill has kind of given me a reason, you know, to be sometimes. So yeah, I credit that all to overworking myself. Now, I'm still dealing with the residual damage left from all of that. I think I've broken my psyche in some places, but I'm dealing with it. I have a therapist.
It's fine.
It's okay. Okay, so I have to ask. So when Tim reached out to you and he pitched doing Revival, was it just like, okay, I'm taking this job? Did you?
Well, it wasn't exactly like that. Tim and I shared a studio. We started a studio in Chicago, so we sat like not even 5 feet from each other every day. And so every day we're working, we're talking about stuff. And our friend Robert had done Walking Dead, several years earlier. And you things come up during the day while you're talking. It's like, what if you did this? What if you did that? And we would throw ideas around every day. And one of the things was, what if we did zombies, but they're not like brain-eating monsters? They're just regular dudes. And I think that was his idea, or we came up with the idea of let's do some. Well, he wanted to do zombies, I think. But he also wanted to do. I think he really wanted to prove that he could write like a mystery, like a murder mystery, and. So he had that idea, and I, over the course of several months, we'd go back and forth and go like, well, what if we do this? What if there's this? What if this character's in there? And he would come up with stuff, and I would come up with stuff. So the creation was definitely a 50-50 thing. We both wanted to do something. But yeah,
for anyone who doesn't know, Tim Seeley's also, creator of Hack Slash.
Yep.
So he loves horror stuff. Are you a horror guy as well? Or?
I wasn't at the time. I've since become.
Oh, okay.
I learned a lot from Tim. Tim, for one thing, is very not afraid to throw ideas out. I've always been kind of a conservative with my ideas. I like either not very confident in them or stuff like, and I always thought, well, if they're not going to pay me to do it, why would I do it? That kind of thing. I've always thought that I was going to be drawing Spider-Man for forever. And he was very much like, I made up this guy. People should read this, that kind of thing. And I eventually came around. I think, that and Battlepug were like my first, like, these are my things, and I'm gonna, so I got the bug from that, and that's why I make my own stuff now. But yeah, he was very much a creator owned pretty early on.
Yeah.
So I learned that from him, and I learned, he's very good at writing. He's a very good writer. You can't take that away from him. He's very good. So,
and it was a really great time when you guys were coming out with Revival, because Image was on fire at that time.
They were. They had a bunch of good stuff coming out, a lot of good number ones, and we benefited from that because Revival 1 did very well. We had several printings and stuff, and and most of the number ones at Image at that time did. I mean, they were really, like you said, they were on fire. People really wanted Image comics.
Yeah, to get ready to talk to you, I did a reread of Revival, and in the back of every issue is just like Howard Chaykin's Black Kiss. It was like Mike Allred's It Girl. It was Think Tank. It was all kinds of stuff.
I mean, well, they put a preview of our book in Walking Dead at the time, and that definitely helped too.
Was it a free comic book day preview, if I remember, or
we did? I think we did. We were in a free comic book day, but no, they put like several pages in like Walking Dead issues.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was. I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah, and then y'all had the Chew crossover. That was awesome.
Which I have to say I was not big on doing, but they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong. I wasn't. I'm very selfish with the stuff that I work on, and I always have this like bigger picture of like I don't want this molested by other hands, and and Tim's very much let's cross it over with everything. Let's do whatever. And I was very hesitant, didn't want to do it, and then we did it, and I was like, I was wrong. This is good.
So did you get to talk to Rob Guillory about drawing Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't talked to him in years, but yeah, I like Rob. He's cool.
Yeah, he was a guest at our show last year. He's super cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, his style is like there's no guessing if that's Rob, and there's not a lot of artists that are like that.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that was one thing that really made Chew work, because it could be such a gross concept.
Yeah,
but Rob's like
absolutely.
cartoony, fun style makes like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that stuff's important, especially when you're doing horror, because my big thing with horror and why it doesn't work sometimes in comics, I don't think that's a thing anymore, but at the time we were doing it, everybody was talking about how horror is hard to do in comics, and the key to it is not to do it like you expect. If you draw a comic scary, then it's not scary really. It's just, it's like you expect the horrible things to happen.
Yeah.
But if you have Rob draw it and you're like, this is a cartoon, nothing bad's gonna happen. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes disturbing, and that's what you want. You want something that people will remember. And that was my approach when I did Revival, is like, I'm gonna draw these people as normal as possible.
Yeah.
This is gonna look like, it's gonna look like Waiting Place. It's gonna be slice of life, and then something terrible is gonna happen, and you're gonna be, oh my God, that's gross.
Yeah, like opposite of Tony and Chew and Rob's style, there were pages on Revival that I was like, holy crap, this is gross.
Yeah. But when you look at like Kyle Hotz or even the master Bernie Wrightson, you're like, I'm waiting for something scary to happen, because that's how they draw. You know, their cover tells you. You're like, oh, that's horrifying on the cover.
Yeah.
You know? Then they're masters. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you really want to get somebody, you kind of have to surprise them. That's why the best horror movies have humor in them, because it's like, that's how they let your guard down, and then they're like, ha, you forgot it's a horror movie.
Well, y'all did a great job in Revival, because like you said, I mean, the kind of like horrific stuff that happens, it's surrounded by this normal small town, you know, a single mom having dating trouble and having issues with her relationship with her dad and her family and stuff like that. So yeah, that really makes it like, holy crap, this could really be happening like outside the window.
That was, I feel like that was and is our strength, is that we, for one thing, Tim never thought of it as a horror comic to begin with, which is interesting because he's so good at horror.
Well, right on the cover it says rural noir, right?
Yeah, he called it rural noir, which is just hard to say. But that's kind of what it is. It's a murder mystery. You know, you could call it like small town gothic or something like that. It's what is bubbling underneath the seemingly mundane and normal, you know, that kind of thing. And that's really what we were trying to go for.
Well, y'all nailed it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so spoilers, guys, if you haven't watched the first 2 episodes or if you haven't read the comics, I'm going to pull up some original art from the comic, and that ties to the first 2 episodes. So the first one I'm going to bring up, this one, I mean, this one I was kind of like, when I was watching it, the opening scene, this one, I mean, down to his mustache, they got that down, and I was like, wow. What were your thoughts?
I wanted to ask Mike real quick. Mike, are you watching the show, or is it weird for you to be watching something you created?
It's both. I love the show, and I've been watching it. I got to go up there and watch them film. So I've been kind of prepared.
And they killed you in the filming, apparently.
They did kill me.
If anyone didn't notice
the tombstone with me.
Yeah, if no one noticed the Easter egg, there's a Mike Norton tombstone.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I was gonna bring that up.
eggs in it. But yeah, I got killed pretty early too. Actually, I think it said 2003. So I've been dead for a while.
You look great, Mike.
Yeah. But yeah, that like the pages that you pulled up, that kind of stuff, that really struck me as like how. So they would send me dailies and pictures and stuff. And the first thing I would do is like I would text Luke, the showrunner, who's been with us for a long time on this project. really the reason why it's on TV in the first place, and it's really why it looks and sounds so much like the comic. Is he was a fan and he really wanted to make his mark with something that he liked, and you kind of get in that rut of thinking that nobody in Hollywood is like that. They all just want to use your thing as a springboard to. But it was important to him to make something that he enjoyed and he was a fan of. So, and it really shows, I think. But stuff like that first scene and the characters, the sweater, the hoodie, all of that.
Yeah.
Even down to the freckles on their faces.
Yeah, they paint the freckles on those.
Yeah.
I couldn't. The thing is, when I went up there, I didn't notice. They pointed it out to me. Because I was hanging out with like the makeup crew all day, and they're like, "Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go make sure Melody's spots are still on and stuff like that." And I'm like, "I didn't even notice you guys did that."
I think I noticed it like on episode 2.
On top of that, Melanie and Romy's freckles are different. They have different patterning. Like it's like, well, M probably looks a little different. They're like they came out different, obviously. Yeah. It's like this. And I'm like, wow, these people are really taking this seriously. That was the weirdest part to me, is that me and Tim made this thing, but the idea that people in another country, because it was filmed in Canada, in another country are sitting there reading our stuff and taking it seriously, it just weirded me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very exciting. That was when I was excited about it. I wasn't excited about all the leading up to it because I've had other things optioned and stuff. And even Luke, who's the showrunner, he's been trying to make a movie of it for years. Mm-hmm. And we even had like a proof of concept trailer and everything. And it looked real cool.
Wow.
But I was just like, yeah, let me know when it's on TV. I don't want to get my hopes up, and now my hopes are up. So
because I've heard I've spoke to Tim before, and he's talked about how Hack Slash got optioned, and
Hack Slash is like the picture, like the poster boy for that stuff.
Yeah, and nothing has ever happened with it, and with y'all, like it took a while, but here it is, right? We have a whole season.
Yeah, Hack Slash has gone through so many different, studios and scripts and all kinds of stuff, and. I mean, that should be a show too, honestly. Yeah. I mean, it could be a movie, it could be a series of movies. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's not going to happen either. I think that it's certainly primed and ready for it.
Wow, I'm so
especially
glad.
Now,
just got to find
like retro slashers kind of being a thing now.
Yeah,
it makes sense to do that.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm so glad that Revival didn't get stuck in that kind of developmental hell.
Well, it did for a while. As soon as we came out, we sold the rights to NBC, and then they never did anything with it. And then we met Luke, and we were going to do a movie, and then it ended up being at Sci-Fi, which is technically NBC again. So it's weird. It came full circle. So,
well, when you have, this is one thing we were talking and had interviewed, another artist and writer. When you have people who have passion behind what they're working on, even in the movie industries, TV, I think that's what makes the shows better and movies better, is because the person who's working on it has that passion for it. And if you have somebody who doesn't, it doesn't come out that great.
Right. I think a lot of the times that when it's a sort of like a project, that's done because of what I was saying. You kind of have to separate yourself from it. Otherwise, you're just going to be counting the disappointments as you go along, So it's really dangerous to really like something in entertainment, So I give full credit to the people that just have a vision and then just bulldog it through, because I don't know if I am that person. I think I've had a little bit of that beaten out of me.
So no Battlepug animated series then?
No comment.
All right. We're breaking news, Ray.
Battlepug has been it has been optioned in the past, and it's being shopped around right now still. So it's been not as long as Hack Slash, but it's been out there for a while.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna bring up one more panel. I mean, even this. I mean,
yeah, the Dittman farm. Oh, that whole first episode is essentially the first issue, and that was the thing that got me, is that they were stayed so close to that first issue, and when me and Tim made it, we knew that first issue was really good, and we were just like, yeah, that would be, if this was a TV show, this would be the first episode, and they did that. I mean, they made changes where they needed to, but they really respected that, this is pretty much our first episode. Let's just do that. And so, they can do whatever they want now, in my opinion. So
can I ask you, when you took Tim's writing and creating this particular page, were you two guys communicating back and forth? Like, he says, "Hey, I want this," or did you already, just off of reading what he wrote, were you able to say?
Back in the day, when we were working in the studio, we talked constantly about stuff, but it wasn't necessarily, "Hey, I want this to look like this or that," and stuff like that. It was more other questions about, like, what do you think this farm looks like? What did they look like in Wausau? Because he's from Wausau, he's from that town. It was all pretty educational. We're both artists, so he never really tells me how to draw something. He writes scripts in how he sees it, and he's very cinematic that way. All the best writers are, and he.
Yep.
So it's very easy. Like, we work together. Like, we don't even have to talk. He just sends me something, and I do it, and we rarely have a situation where he's like, "That's not what I was thinking at all." And a lot of the character designs he came up with, he came up, I think it was about half and half. Actually, no, I probably made up most of the people there, like how they look. He came up with how Wayne, he drew Wayne. He gave me these designs for Wayne. He's like, we talked about it, and then he came back and he's like, "I drew some things." And he drew Wayne, and he drew M. He had an idea for the hoodie pretty early on, because M was based on a comic book idea he had when he was in high school. It was sort of like this Crow sort of homage, and so he had this, I forgot what her name was. It was called, she had a superhero name. It was like the Poet or something like that. I forget. It was very teenage angsty.
Nice.
And so he had her. Dana was actually Dane. It was a guy. And he did the first version of the Ghosts in the Woods. So from there, I made Dana. So M is his girl and Dana is mine. I've always felt very close to Dana. And M is, and you look at them, like how I draw them in the comic, they're just the way they are. You can see, this is what Tim's into and this is what Mike's into. But yeah, that was a very special time, because we were really firing on the creative juices. And we would just come up with stuff. He was really into, Blaine Abel as this kind of con artist, douchebag who's really using exorcism as a way to fleece the people of Wausau. And then I came up with Rhodey, who was my idea at the time was who would be the most annoying person if you couldn't kill them? And I thought, it's one of those YouTube prank guys. And so Rhodey was born out of that. He's much cooler in the show. He's like a rock star in the show. But in the comic, he's just a douchebag that records himself hurting himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it was kind of cool to just come up with things like that. So
and for anyone who doesn't know, Tim Seeley is an artist as well.
Yeah.
So I guess when he's designing stuff, he's giving you pretty pretty fleshed out sketches and stuff of his designs.
Yeah,
right?
I think we put them in the collections, the
Okay.
first early sketches he had for like Wayne and M. And M always, like when he first started, had the scars on her mouth that she gets later on in the comic, and we kind of took those away for a while. It's just like, come on, let's. But you got it in there.
I could see how that would be, Crow inspired.
It's very Crow inspired. Yes. Yes. You're picked up
But
on that, right? Yeah.
But that's the best part when you have other creators who love a certain thing that they're reading, and they but they twisted something that they love so much.
That's the beauty of art. You're influenced by everything around you, and that's really when I got into the whole idea of collaboration. It's like this. I almost prefer it to coming up with my own stuff. Like doing everything yourself. Besides just being hard, it's not as fun as like bouncing things off of somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like the first taste I had of that was me and Tim and Josh Blaylock actually sitting in a room for like 8 hours coming up with story ideas for G.I. Joe back in the day. And I came out of that like really jazzed. I was like, wow, we came up with some good stuff. I've never done that before because I wasn't really writing at the time. I was just drawing stuff, and I was just like, "Oh, that's really cool that we all got our ideas in there."
That was the Devil's Due G.I. Joe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay,
cool. That's the reason I started. I came up to Chicago to work for them. I was their art director for the first 2 years, I think. And then,
okay.
Wow.
And man, Chicago's got a great comics scene, right?
We do. We're not as tightly knit as we used to be, but yes, there are a lot of people here, a lot of good, talented people here.
Yeah, because I know it's you, and is Tim still in the Chicago area, or?
Yeah, he's in one of the outer neighborhoods, but he's still.
And then Jenny Frisson.
She is outside of the city technically, but
okay.
She's still in our hearts.
Yeah, and let's see, Jeffrey Brown. Jeffrey
Brown is here.
Jeff Darrow moved to France, right?
Yeah, Jeff isn't here anymore.
Yeah. So who are there any like younger Chicago creators that maybe we should be keeping an eye on, or?
Absolutely. So Daniel Warren Johnson lives down the street.
Really?
Yeah. So
no way.
He's a big up and comer. Terrell Cannon is really good. My studio mates Sean Dove and Andrew Masisco, both very talented. Andrew's prolific. He makes a comic like every 2 weeks.
Really?
He's just always, even, he publishes most of them himself. So
I'll have to look up these names. Cool. Yeah,
there's tons of creators out there. Yeah. Damon Hampton, who comes in the studio a lot, he's doing some Superboy stuff right now.
Okay.
But yeah, the young kids are still good. They're real good.
It's crazy, right? It seems like in every field, because I'm a huge basketball fan, and I see that too, that like the younger generation seems to be coming in already with these skills that the previous generation had to work on,
It's because of, when I was a kid, I didn't see his comic book page the way they looked until I was 20. And now kids, there's YouTube, and you learn how to color on an iPad when you're 12. So they come out fully formed.
Yeah.
These 14-year-olds are better than I'm now. So it's not surprising. It's just kind of like unsettling.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because everything is on YouTube, right? If you want a tutorial,
I've learned a lot of stuff from it. I'm always like, especially coloring, because I don't do a lot of it. So I look at it all the time for tips and tricks, and basically how to do a lot with nothing.
That's cool.
Dang.
That's great.
So I got to ask the question so a lot of artists now are going away from original art to digital or half and half. where are you at currently with?
I'm
with
all
that?
digital now. I have been. I was pretty early in on that. I
Oh
started
wow.
probably, and it was before 2010. I was still
Wow.
exclusive at DC when I started working digitally. I was working on Blue Beetle at the time, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um,
My Blue Beetle right here.
yeah. I love Jaime.
Oh, dude.
Um,
That was freaking awesome. Seeing it in the big screen
oh yeah, I
and
love that.
seeing
Yeah, that's my first movie credit actually, because I'm at
Oh,
the end of
really?
that movie.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I
wow.
love Jaime, and the thing is, I'm the target audience that would hate Jaime. I'm like a big fan of Ted, and I'm a
I love
white guy from the South.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, I'm gonna hate Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Can I say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jaime Reyes
You're
is
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's Peter Parker. How can you not like that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's great, and that's the thing. It's like every one of these legacy characters that DC does, it's like there's always a reason to like them. You know, it's like they haven't really made a bad one. I can tell. That's why they keep them all. You
Yeah.
know, that's why there's 17 Supermen. You know, but yeah, Jaime is awesome, and Cully's design is right up there with like Ditko's Blue Beetle design. You know, I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I
Dude, now
love.
I'm gonna go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love the Blue Beetles because same thing. I was a Ted Cord guy.
Yeah,
I grew up on that Len Wein, Paris Cullins. Oh.
you're. I have a page from it. I have a page from it.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Blue Beetle, and Spider Man were my guys.
Yeah, those are my guys. I
Um,
always my wife makes fun of me because I like the bug characters. So
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's true.
yeah. But
I
yeah,
never thought about that because
uh-huh.
people used to mention is like because I have a arachnophobia and everybody's like, why do you like Spider Man? I'm like, that's not the same thing. I'm not afraid of guys in costumes.
Yeah. But yeah,
oh,
that's 80s series, man. I met Paris Cullins for the first time at Heroes Con this
I've
year.
never met him. I really want to meet him.
I never see him at any shows.
Yeah,
and
he doesn't do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I saw he was going to be there, so I had to be there. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I love Ted, and then man, when he got killed, Infinite Crisis, that
hurt.
yeah, that hurt. But then we got Jaime, and instantly I loved Jaime too. I loved how it was such a different power set, it's such a different, the scare was able to open up for him, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was the stuff that really got me interested because so yeah, they killed my guy and then they came in with a new guy. So I'm supposed to hate this guy. And when I was reading the Jeff Johns stuff, the countdown and stuff, I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Ted doesn't have the scarab anymore because I was like going by old school. But after a while, I was like, yeah, this stuff it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I should have hated Jaime since they killed Ted, but since we're here in Texas, immediately I was like, we have a Texas hero? Yes.
oh yeah.
We never get anything.
Represent El Paso.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. So my Funko Pop.
That was the thing that was actually the thing I didn't like about the movie is that he wasn't in El Paso anymore.
Yeah.
They made up a city for him.
I was like, what happened? Why is he in California? Come on.
Yeah,
I think it was Florida. It was supposed to be like a Miami kind.
Yeah, it was like a Miami.
Oh, I thought they said it was like California. No? Okay,
I might be wrong. It's like a weird fictional city with all these crazy skyscrapers and stuff.
Yeah.
But speaking of the design, the Ditko design, Mike, your and Sean's Gravity character, very much that Blue Beetle Ditko.
I'm glad you noticed that because
the yellow goggles and
when it came out, everybody was saying, "Oh, look at this guy ripping off Invincible," and I would actually go on message boards and say, "Clearly, you don't understand that I'm ripping off Blue Beetle."
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I got to get mine signed because I got Cully signed it because
cool.
they had a screening here in Austin, and so we got to cover the event. The director was there, and so we were there. This was during the strike, and I'm over here, and I'm like, I see a guy in the corner sitting at a picnic table with a group of people, and I'm like, it's like, no way, that's not Cully. So I approach him, and I took my Funko Pop with me because I'm like, worst case scenario, if somebody shows up, I might be prepared.
No, that's smart. I'm never like that.
Well, so I go up to him like, "Hey, Cully." He looked at me, he turns around, and I was like, can I get you to sign my Funko Pop? I was like, nobody knows you're here? And he's like, nah, nobody knows who I am. I'm like, how? I mean, dude, without you and you're part of why this movie is taking place.
Mhm.
And so I got like a little quick interview with him, but I got him to sign it. I got the director to sign it. And so now I'm gonna have you sign it as well when I meet
Oh
you.
yeah, absolutely. Love to. Love
But
to.
not just
I'd
that.
be honored with all those other people. Yeah. Please.
Well, not just that. Since we're here, another reason why we're here for
Oh yeah, Krypto.
Krypto. So this, I got this sketch cover when it came out. I'm like, you know what, sketch cover I'm gonna have to get, because I love getting artists to do stuff. And this one, San Diego Comic-Con, what I do is I have the
Oh, that's great.
and I have people.
Oh, that's wow.
Yeah.
So he doesn't do a lot of shows anymore.
No, I got it at San Diego.
Oh,
So
cool.
I get I'll get the artists or writers to sign the books, and then I'll have artists do unique stuff.
Yeah,
In Comic Capsule, these things have been in boxes. I haven't taken them out until Comic Capsule came up with these, where you can hang them up on the wall.
that's
But
cool.
yeah, I mean, dude, I can give you a list of the ones I got. I got Bermuda Junior,
Oh,
Harley Quinn, dude.
yeah.
I had them in boxes for the longest time, and now I'm gonna start putting them up my wall. But
So
I
do you still
specifically,
collect, Mike, or being in the industry so long, not really?
Yeah, I kind of. Well, you see these black boxes
Yeah,
on
I
the
was
wall.
noticing
That's
that.
everything I have, and I don't want to fill more. So I'm good with what I have.
Okay.
Uh,
And then you've
I
got the cool
still
rack.
yeah, I
I
was gonna
buy
say that too.
I buy here and there.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
the ones that I buy new and stuff, I usually put on the rack because, speaking of comic geek speak, they came to Chicago for C2E2 once, and I had them in my car. I think it was Peter Rios saw that I had a comic book just sitting on the floorboard, no
Oh
bag and
no,
stuff.
Peter must have freaked out.
I think I was going to have to take him to the hospital. I think. But, yeah, I'm not very friendly to comics. I really run them rough. It's kind of, I went through that period of being real anal retentive when I was a teenager about them, but now it's just like take them out of the bag and then I just forget to put them in the bag and throw the bag away. It's like, well, I'm not selling these.
Yeah.
I don't have kids. I'm just going to do what I want with these things.
Any artwork, or do you just collect from like your friends, or maybe just particular ones you like?
I do collect artwork sometimes. I have quite a bit of it. The studio is covered in pages that I've bought. I have like it's all artists that I really love, like Mike Waringo and
Oh man,
Cliff Chang and
Wow.
Stuart Eminem,
that's awesome.
and Paris Cullens, obviously. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. I have one of me of mine, but it's because Bill Sienkiewicz inked it. So I was like, I got to put a Bill Sienkiewicz on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I have a John Byrne, so it's a John Byrne Blue Beetle. I had a commission done.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
I am interested in art, but I don't buy a lot of comics. I do buy. I'll get it like a graphic novel or something. I'll still buy stuff like that, but I don't buy a lot of, especially monthly comics.
Yeah.
Nice. See, that's the best part about the artist wise is like having original artwork. I have some original artwork too. It's in a book. I haven't put up yet, because that stuff. If I'm gonna put it up, you have to buy the special glass and everything like that. And
right, I understand. But I mean,
yeah.
that's the problem with being digital now, is that people didn't ask for the stuff before I went digital, and now everybody asks. And I'm like, oh. So I have an art dealer. It's Comic Art House, and they do this for Mitch Garrett's too. They make these archival prints.
That's what I was going to ask, if you offer these artist proofs that I've seen, like David Marquez and stuff does.
Yep.
Wow.
We've been doing that with my Hellboy and Batman and stuff, and we just put out Revival issue 1. We have all
Ooh.
those. But they're on comicarthouse.com. They're he really goes all the way with them. He stamps them, and they have hollow foil number on the back, and I sign every one
Nice.
of them just to make sure, because people are. It's not. I didn't draw on this paper, so people
Yeah.
are understandably hesitant sometimes. But I want to make sure that he's like, this is the only one in existence. There's not going to be another one, and so that's it. You
Yeah.
have essentially original art. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the downside to working on the computer. I can get a lot more done,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's people love that sweet, sweet original art.
Yeah. Yeah, we just saw the story about the Jock Joker cover, right? That was.
Oh
Oh, I don't
yeah.
know what you're
Oh,
talking
you didn't
about.
see that? Yeah,
No.
apparently it went to auction and sold for like 250,000.
Which
Yeah, that
And
was
cover?
crazy.
it was the Joker cover where it's like Joker's face is made out of like the bats.
Oh, the Jock one.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was on paper. For some reason I thought that was digital.
No, and it sold for a crazy
Wow.
amount, and he's just like, well, oh well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
because he definitely did not get that amount for it when he sold it.
Oh no, I thought he was selling it.
No,
Oh,
someone
ooh,
else. Yeah.
okay. Well, another downside.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's the thing. As for an artist, you don't know what actual art page is going to be the one that's going to sell for crazy amounts. Or
That's the other thing. I've had pages in my portfolio, so I do still have paper art that actually Tim's wife Pala runs an art business, and all my paper art is with her.
oh
mm,
wow,
And so at Panel Punk Originals,
oh
and so they still have a lot of my um, actual pages on paper. But the thing is, it's all like DC and Marvel stuff that I did years ago, and a lot of people weren't clamoring for it then. So I was like,
the countdown the countdown pages people are
yeah,
asking.
there's quite a few countdown pages, but there's also Blue Beetle stuff in there, and
what?
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of good
Oh,
stuff.
All right. Well, then
Yes,
I'm going over there right now. So
there's
not to try to
there's
get
a
me.
there's an
I'm sorry.
awesome page that I kind of wish I didn't give them, but it's a page from Blackest Night. It's Black Lantern Ted.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just a big splash page of dead Ted Cord, zombie Ted Cord, and
Yeah, I'm
kind of
looking it
wish
up
I
right now.
kept that and put it in a frame.
So not to get any salacious details or anything, you don't have to throw anyone under the bus, but your paper art, I know at one time you were with Cadence. Were
Yeah,
you able to get all your stuff back from them?
I was,
Oh, okay.
but I was kind of I was low stakes there. There were bigger names at Cadence than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was able to get everything.
Okay. That's good.
So that wasn't a problem.
Okay, that's good to hear.
so I gotta ask. Okay, so this you said they reprinted the revival.
Yep.
So was this digital or was this original?
So the cover is Jenny always works hybrid. She does drawing in paper and then she paints it on the computer. And that was
Oh,
actually that and Battlepug were my first I did everything digitally. So yeah, that was the whole book is done digitally. There are layouts like pencils that I did on 8.5 by 11 pencil paper,
no way.
and I would scan them and ink them. Those are also with comicartfans.com. I have layout pages of that first issue. And
Wow.
those are interesting because sometimes there's a panel missing and stuff because it's just like, I don't want to draw that right now. I'll do that later. You know?
Dude, that's so
And
crazy.
talking about Jenny's covers, Mike, I haven't seen a Mike Norton cover like maybe since the Gravity days. Do you just not like working on covers, or?
I wish it was that. They don't ask me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up a sore subject or anything.
I did cover I did covers for my Borderlands series at Dark Horse,
Oh,
and I did covers for my X-Men series that I did at Marvel. And I remember that because Art Adams was the B cover, and I was like, why am I not the B cover? was like, he should be on the A cover.
Yeah.
Both of his names start with
it. So getting to the crypto, what we're going to talk about. So, where did you the details you do, and when you draw, the animals, like dogs and the pugs, the way you draw them. I mean, the expressions on their faces. I mean, are you going off of experience of the way you see animals?
Everything. I mean, if I'm always using reference for stuff, especially animals. The funny thing about, I'm kind of known as this dog guy now, and I don't think I'm very good at it. I started drawing animals because I wanted to learn how to draw animals. I really like animals. I mean, if it weren't for the fact that you have to learn math, I probably would have considered veterinary when I was younger. But I'm not a very good student, and but I do love animals, so I love drawing them. And the four-legged guys are real hard to do sometimes. Cats are still real hard for me to do. I can draw a horse real easy, but for some reason I can't draw a cat.
And you always hear that horses are hard. Horses and motorcycles.
Yep, horses and motorcycles are still kind of hard. But yeah, horses I can do. One of the first books I did was the Atom, and Gail wrote the first issue I did. Gail put, there's a cowboy on a horse in the Atom's living room. So the first thing I did was had to draw a horse. So I got real used to it real quick. And but yeah, it's kind of like immersion therapy, trying to learn how to draw animals. So I'm always looking at them. I had 2 pugs for 10 years, and they were my best friends. And I would always shoot reference of them. I have 2 cats now, and I'm always studying them. You know how Disney animators, they'll go to the zoo and watch and sketch and stuff like that. And it's very important to sort of get the natural way that animals, because there's a thing that people recognize, especially if they have pets. They know, when a dog stretches out when he gets out of his bed and stuff like that. They know that's a universal thing. And so, and Ryan really wrote this book, like, I don't know, you guys are probably too young, but they're those old Benji movies that they used to put out, where Benji would go across the country, no dialogue at all.
Yeah.
But there's a whole movie of it, and that we kind of had to do that with this because Krypto doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So we have to tell the story without words a lot of the time, and so I wanted to make it, make the dog be as natural as possible. So yeah, I use a lot of reference for dogs.
Well, speaking of the reference, I saw the pages that Ray put up there. He looks like, the Krypto that we normally associate with, comic Krypto, but he doesn't look like movie Krypto. Was there any?
He's a little bit. If you notice, he's got the floppy ears, and he's a little more furry than Krypto is shown in the past. He's
okay.
The problem with Krypto is that he's been drawn as every breed of dog, pretty much. He's like a white lab. He's like a hound. He's been a pit bull.
Really?
I've looked at a lot of pictures of Krypto, and he's never. Ace is actually similar. Bat hound. He's more often a German Shepherd, but he's been a pit bull as well. Wow. It's really whatever the mood of the artist drawing him at the time. So Krypto in my book is really the one you think of, like the old golden age, but I gave him the floppy ear because of James Gunn's.
Yeah.
And I made him a little fuzzier around the face.
Okay.
So in a lot of scenes you see like he's got like a little almost beard and mustache sort of look. He's very unkempt. Okay. He's not the sleek super dog of yesterday.
All right.
So the one question I was going to ask, so there's a page where he's laying down with Kal-El. That one is just, oh man, it's so beautiful just seeing him.
Oh, where he's sleeping with the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are, those are those. Ryan again was really into putting these splash moments in the book of these quiet moments with Krypto.
Yeah.
And there's never like a big bombastic fight splash page. It's always Krypto in the quiet moments. And that,
Yeah.
I think it's because, that's how you're going to relate. I mean, you've never seen a dog fly and beat up somebody, but you've seen a dog cuddle up on a couch with somebody. And so that's kind of the thing that kind of draws you in and gets you to really like this dog.
Yeah.
If you had this original art, this would be the piece I
Yeah,
would want
I
to
hear
buy.
it every day, man. I hear it every day. While I'm doing it at the time, I'm like, maybe I'll draw this one on paper. And then I look at the clock and I'm like, nope, gotta go with the next one.
Well, you said you're going to be doing more conventions, so people can ask for Krypto.
Oh, yeah. I
right?
drew a ton of Kryptos over the weekend. I did a signing here in Skokie, and I was like, oh, all right, I better learn how to draw dogs better.
So another one I was going to ask you about, you, of course, yours, I'm going to bring yours up, but I want to bring this up. I mean, this was and the way you draw Krypto on there, the floppy ears, like you said, this was our baby boy. Yeah, Krypto.
I love that dog. I love both of them, but that dog is awesome.
Yeah, like that. When I saw the trailer and they showed that in the trailer, I was like, I don't need to see anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
Yep, there. Gotta get my ticket now.
Yeah, and that's how I felt, and I was just like, wow. And then when they announced this, and then I saw you were doing it, I was like, I started reaching out to you, and I was like, I got to get him on. I want to talk about Revival, but then also Krypto. It was just like the perfect storm.
I appreciate that. I've talked about this before, but my wife and I've had the discussion with her. Is like early on, I was like, I kind of don't want to be the pug guy, and then she's like, you are the pug guy. And I was like, okay, so now I'm leaning into the skid a little bit more now.
Well, I mean, come on, man.
Bug, congrats on the Kickstarter. I saw it's funded already, right?
Yeah, thanks. We still got like 12 more days, so I'm trying to do stretch goals now. So, yeah, it's my first completely self-published book. So, yeah, I'm really glad that happened. Otherwise, I'd have to consider retiring, I guess.
So are these new stories, or is this reprinting the Dark Horse stuff?
Nope, this is an entirely brand new story. It's
awesome.
It's a sequel to the Image book that I did, and it's an excuse for me to draw anything I want. It's not just Conan ripoff anymore. I'm doing everything. There's space stuff in it. There's Western stuff. There's Mad Maxian stuff. There's everything in it. So it's a pretty crazy book.
That's cool.
Nice.
There's a Jenny Frizen cameo in it.
What?
Yep.
Oh yeah, well you've stuck friends into your books before.
All the time. But
John, I saw John Suntress in a book before.
Oh, John Suntress is in the book as well. He's an old West sheriff, old timey sheriff.
Yeah, I've seen the Comic Geek Speak logo in books before.
Yep. I love putting stuff that I am a fan of in my comics. I started doing that when I saw Todd Knock, who was working on Teen Titans when I was doing it. He would always sneak a Mystery Science Theater 3000 reference in there.
Really?
And so I was like, well, I want to do that, but it's kind of his thing. So I did start putting things that I liked in my comics.
Wow.
And that's funny, because of that, he recommended me to Joel Hodgson. And I ended up working on Mystery Science Theater because of the little references in the books. So it's follow your dreams, kids. Do what you want to do. It pays off.
Yeah.
So you had a question you said you were going to ask earlier today that you were going to ask. Did you already ask it, Nasser?
Me? I think so. I don't know. I've asked so many questions. I don't remember.
Yeah.
No, oh, you know what? There was one. If we want to go back to the revival series, I was always wondering, Mike, because like I said, I did a reread getting ready for the interview. Was it always meant to be 47 issues, or did y'all have to pad it out?
We wanted to do 60. That was a nice round number for us, and I think that's around why the Last Man ended up being.
Yeah, I
like
think it
60.
was. Yeah.
So that seemed like a very good number to us. But there was a thing in the plot. So one of the things when we were brainstorming Revival is we wanted a story where we knew what the ending was and we could work towards that. Because we were both fans of, well, I was especially a fan of Lost at the time, and they did not do that. And so I was like, let's not do that. Let's know what we're working towards.
Yeah.
And so we did. But the thing was, we left a lot of room in there so we could write 60 issues. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, there's a point in the plot where once a certain thing happens, it's like getting on a wagon and rolling downhill. You can't really stop the pacing. So it just naturally ended up at 47. We were going for 60, but it would have felt padded if we did that. Okay. So it was more of a pacing issue. We had a target, but we ended up ending early. It wasn't any other decision other than that.
Okay, because I always wondered if y'all got to tell the story you wanted to tell.
Absolutely. In fact, it wouldn't have been as good a book if we had actually put in another 10 issues in there. It would have felt padded and run, kind of like when you watch a TV show and you're like, there's like 4 episodes of content in this 10 episode season kind of thing.
Well, back when they used to be like 24 episodes in a season.
Oh yeah, right.
And they were like, this was just a filler episode.
Yeah, and we didn't want to do that. In fact, we went on so many tangents as it was. We had an Amish samurai. Come on.
Yeah.
We had a lot of other things going on. In fact, that was the one thing that I think they've had a problem with the show is like there are so many characters in this book.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to add to the mess, especially once the main mystery was getting figured out. We knew we had to like streamline it. So
that's good. Wow. Oh, I do remember. So whenever you're ready, Ray, you let me know. I'll save it for the end. But
okay. So one of the things that we always ask artists and creators, without the exception of YouTube, if you had a young person come up to your table, what inspiration would you give them if they're wanting to get in this industry? And, what's the do and do nots?
It's a real good question that I don't know if I'm qualified to answer anymore, because I've noticed that it's different now than when I started. When I started, they always told you, go submit your stuff in the mail and go to conventions. And I don't think that's even necessary now. I think a lot of people come to the artist because they see them online. It's really a matter of how many followers you have sometimes, and that's not something I would have ever predicted. So I can say the basics of what I believe in, which is always be able to tell a story and, especially even without words, be good at drawing like everything and don't go away. Like I said earlier, just don't go away. It's beyond determination that you need sometimes when you're working in an artistic field, because there are so many people that want to do what you're doing. Everybody would like to, have a dream job. But the thing is, a lot of people don't expect that dream job to be a job, so they don't really put a lot of the work into it. They have a lot of pie in the sky ideas, but the actual sitting down and working in your basement for more than 8 hours a day for years at a time, not really appealing to some people. So you got to be prepared for that. You got to put the work in, but know that you're going to get exactly what you want in the end if you do all that. And that can be daunting. as somebody who's gone through it, it's kind of hard sometimes. And I don't know if that's necessarily the way that it's done now. So, I mean, there could be tricks and tips that I don't know because I'm an old man.
Well, apparently you died 20 years ago.
Yeah, I died. I died in 2003.
Oh man, but that's a good thing. I mean, it's true. The work you put into it, the hard work you put into it.
Yeah.
Just like this, the podcast started off with one or two artists interviewing, writers and artists.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting to talk to people like you, and if I was.
Oh no!
Oh, we lost him. Oh no. Man, he was saying something heartfelt there.
Yeah. Now I feel bad. He'll be back.
He'll be back. Well, I'll go ahead and ask my question. So this question comes from Sean McKeever.
Oh,
Sean has been a guest at our show the past few years, and I know you guys have collaborated on a bunch of stuff. So Sean wanted me to ask you, why do you like circus peanuts, Mike Norton?
I wasn't expecting that, Sean. I can't eat them anymore because I'm diabetic. And I'm probably diabetic because of circus peanuts. I don't know. It's like the comic books. Like I said, my dad would bring home comics and candy.
Yeah.
And there were the marshmallow ice cream things, and there was circus peanuts. And they're just banana flavored sugar. And I loved that. I loved it. It reminds me of being a kid. And I used to eat them by the bag, and it was not good for me, and my teeth show it today. I love circus peanuts. Gail Simone wrote it into the atom. She had the bad guy loved circus peanuts. He had a bowl next to him all the time with circus peanuts, and that's how you knew he was evil, because he liked circus peanuts.
Yeah. Sean and I agreed. There's no reason for anybody to like circus peanuts.
You know what? Here's the thing. I can't argue with that. They are gross.
They're so gross.
They're gross, but that means more for me.
Well, that's like when people always put down candy corn. I was like, I'll take it.
The same. I love candy corn. I can't eat it anymore, but I love the little Malacream pumpkins too. I'll eat all of it.
Yeah, I'll eat all that.
I did eat all of it, and that's why I have a medical condition.
Man, well, that was Sean's question.
Yeah, he knows. He knew the answer to that. He's like my bully big brother.
How did y'all meet while we're waiting for Ray to connect back?
Sean and I met him at a Chicago Comic-Con, and I had read his comic. And I basically went up and said I liked his comic. And I don't know if I contacted him because he was actually running a talent search for the next waiting place.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, hey, I like your comic. I'll draw it. And he let me, and we became really good friends. So,
cool. Well, Sean's a great guy.
He's, like I said, he's only 6. Is he 6 months? He's like a year older than me. So I feel very brotherly with him. I feel like he's lived a life that I was too scared. He did the stuff in high school that I was too scared to be. So
I'll have to ask him about the high school days then.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying he went out and set things on fire or anything, but he had a real growing up in Wisconsin experience, and I was kind of a stay inside and draw kid. So he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and y'all have done some great work together. I still miss poor Greg and Gravity, man.
I miss him too. We both have ideas. I had a great idea for how you could make him relevant today, but that's how it goes. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is anyway, so it's not like waiting a couple of years will make a difference.
Yeah. But you know what? That's what's going to happen. It's going to be some kid who read it. He grows up, gets into the industry, and brings him back.
I'm here for it. When he becomes a writer and he's like, hey, remember this B tier character? Like we all have our Blue Beetle.
No, I love
we all have our B tier characters that we want to do.
Yeah.
But hopefully Gravity will be that for some new kid.
Yeah.
And they'll ask me to do a cover then. That's
yeah. And then you'll get to be like the special variant. They bring you out
a special variant, and I'll half-ass it like an old guy. I'll just like, this is how I draw now. Look at it.
Where's my paycheck?
And all the forums will be like, he's lost it. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Oh man. Sorry guys, technical difficulties.
I feel bad for you. I hate it when that happens.
No problem, man.
Yeah. But no, dude, thanks again for coming on. This was awesome getting to sit down and talk with you.
Yeah, it's been fun actually. Yeah. I appreciate you letting me come on and talk about my stupid stuff.
Oh man.
I have to tell everybody to go to the Kickstarter and buy the
that's
book.
what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna ask about that.
Kickstarter projects Battlepug, I think. I don't know. Just type Battlepug into Kickstarter. I'm sure it's the only one.
And they got 12 days left, is what you said, right?
Yeah. We're about to hit our first stretch goal, which will be spot varnish on the cover. So it'll be real shiny where the pug is. It'll look like he's coming off the screen at you.
Oh, fancy.
Then the second tier is going to be my friend in England, Mr. Hope. He does these amazing watercolor drawings, and he's going to do a mini print that everybody will get if we reach 1,500. So, I mean 15,000, 1,500. Oh my! I've gone back. I've lost money. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's already done it. I'm a very lucky person.
No, that shows when you have the fan following, when they fund your Kickstarters. And
I super appreciate it. Like I said, it was my first one, and I was really scared and worried. So I am, it's hard to put into words how much it means to me. So just know that it does, everybody.
I know we're wrapping up, but I just want to ask, Mike, do you have more Battlepug stories planned, or?
I do. In fact, the funny thing about Battlepug is I always leave it on a cliffhanger, which sucks for everybody that read the last one 5 years ago. But yeah, this one ends similarly. So there's a setup for a new series I want to do, and I have an absolute idea for what I'm going to do with it. Okay. It's just I gotta make the time to do it. So.
Yeah. All right. So everybody go support Mike so he can do more Battlepug.
Yeah, please.
So I have to ask, is one of those tiers original art by chance?
Yeah, they've all been taken, but we work out something. I did put out there like a question of like what they would like for stretch goals, and commissions came up again. But I was trying to figure out a way to make that so it was fair for everybody, you know. I got to figure out how to do that. I'm still new to everything, so
yeah.
Dude, the internet and the situation we're at right now, we're in a different world, like you said. Up and coming comic artists, this wasn't the case, almost 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're in a different
I'm cool
world.
with it. I just wish I understood it more. That's the thing. I want to stay on top of it is the thing. Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, you look at these people and they're so good at what they do, and it's just like I wish I could appreciate it more because I don't know about it half the time.
True. Any question that said you're going to wait till the end, Nasser?
Oh, we did it while you were gone.
It was a Sean McKeever. He got me a gotcha question.
Yeah, he was just asking about Mike's love of circus peanuts and why he eats those gross things.
I can't anymore.
Well, not anymore, but
I did.
You'll see it in the final.
I used to eat circus peanuts so much I could tell the different brands apart.
Wow.
I could tell you that the CVS brand circus peanuts are awful.
More awful, you mean?
And Brock's. Always go with Brock's.
All
Brock's
right.
is the king of circus peanuts. But you don't want the CVS brand. I don't know where they get them from. They taste like chemicals.
Well, guys, again, thanks for another awesome episode. It bites that I had some technical difficulties with the internet, of course. But Mike, again, Nasser, thanks for holding it down.
No problem.
Yeah, I would love to get you back on, once the
Yeah,
Kickstarter funds,
anytime.
and we could talk about it like once you've already hit your goal
Yeah.
and what fans can expect on these new runs that you're going to be doing, the new issues. We could talk about that. And
Cool.
then I think Nasser has some questions once we stop recording.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
See you guys.